Hello and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, India's only daily television platform for small businesses. We bring you the right information to empower you. The SME entrepreneur tonight on VoiceWhat presents impactful leaders and brands in LOT special series. 2 interviews. First up, we'll be in conversation with Polaris, and on the other side of a break, Prayag Polymers is our second special conversation tonight. Our first conversation on the special series tonight is with Polaris Industries. It is an automobile company with a twist. They started by producing snowmobiles, but now they make off-road vehicles, including for the military as well as high-end two-wheelers. I spoke with Pankaj Dubey of the company to understand how they're bringing the massive success that they're seeing in the Western markets and making bigger and bigger inroads here in India. Take a listen.
Polaris India, a wholly owned subsidiary of the world's largest ATV manufacturer, Polaris Industries is a name to reckon with in the automobile sector. Founded in 1954, Polaris is a market leader in the motor vehicle space, specializing in high-quality, innovative off-road vehicles, all-terrain vehicles, snowmobiles, motorcycles and electric-powered vehicles. Polaris ATVs are currently being used by the Army and the State Police, and the automobile behemoth is gearing towards telecom and electric transmission, where ATVs can help access remote hilly areas. Polaris India is also exploring adventure sports with the creation of experience zones. With 80 experience zones in multiple cities across India, the company aims to expand these, ensuring more people get to experience the Polaris life.
Thank you very much, Pankaj, for speaking with us here on the show, talking to us about what you do at Polaris Industries, talking about also the market in India and the big picture when it comes to innovation in this space. But I first want to talk about Polaris Industries, what you do when it comes to the automobile space.
Polaris Industries is largely into automotive space, and we started with snow scooters. So we are a very innovative company. We've figured out the toughest of the problems that the humanity faces, and then we figure out to give a mobility solution accordingly. So it started off with a snow scooter, and then it got spread out to all-terrain vehicles, like again going into different terrains like sand dunes, even in snow or hilly terrains. So we created all-terrain vehicles, and then we've done a number of innovations over the years. So that's where we are.
Okay, I want to talk about your own journey. Maybe give our viewers a brief sense of what your journey and your association has been in the automobile space.
Started more than 2 decades ago with a company called Escorts Mahle. I was there. I started in the automotive engine space, where we were selling piston rings, and then I moved on to Hero, and then I worked in two-wheelers in LML, and for a brief period of time I also went into the telecom space, where I was actually gone into the IT company and launched the telecom division. That was Intex, and then I moved on to Yamaha, and from Yamaha I got this call from Polaris when they came to India, and they wanted to start this all-terrain vehicle business and look at India from a Polaris perspective. So I joined them way back in January 2011, and for the last more than 7 years I'm associated with Polaris in launching the Polaris ATVs and the Indian motorcycle.
How is the ATV space in India looking like? Maybe you give us an India perspective. I do know that the market is limited here in India, so maybe talk to us about then what are the growth opportunities for you?
So India market is very niche, very small, so it's almost like when we started 7 years back. It would be like there were a few people who we imported before that, but then as a company we were the first ones to come here, and in 7 years we have done a lot of work in all-terrain vehicle areas, and We have a large number of customer base where we have reached in the country, and it takes some pride to share that we have the ATVs being used for the security of the country by the Indian Armed Forces, security forces, paramilitary forces, the forest departments, and a number of others. So it's been quite interesting journey in the last 7 years, and it's been not a bed of roses, because one thing is that there is a market and then you go and take a market share from the competition, but in this space there's no competition. So whatever work that you do, you are the whatever market share that you have is the industry. So the industry is what you sell, and what you sell is the industry.
Why is there no competition then?
It's a very niche area. These are like off-road vehicles, so you go into only off-road. So we specialize into that area, and that market is at a very nascent stage in India. So there are competition who are globally competing with us, but in India the size of the business is very small, and therefore they are not taking this on right now. But I'm sure with the kind of progress that we are making over the years of few years time, they would also be here, and they'll start marketing these products.
Okay, so if you're saying it's a niche market, just give us some numbers in terms of what is the size of the market that you have in India, and also size of the market that you have globally, and over the next couple of years, given that you are looking at, of course, expanding your footprint, what's the kind of market size that you think you'd be comfortable with in the next 2 to 3 years?
See, the market in India in the all-terrain vehicle is at a size of about 1,000 units per year. And that includes a lot of imports that are happening, the low-cost imports that are being done in India by small-time operators. And we have been consistently growing in terms of revenue in the 7 years. And I see that it's a long haul. So it's not that another 2 or 3 years' time some dramatic things will happen. There are certain bottlenecks which we'll share, which if we are able to plug those bottlenecks, probably the scalability of the business would be there. But for now, what I see is the growth of about say 10 to 15% year on year would continue.
Fair enough. You have, of course, a massive base when it comes to the export markets, when it comes to the West, where and particularly in the US, where Polaris is based. But to be able to replicate that in the Indian market, does your approach need to be different? What do you need to do differently to have the same kind of a base, the same kind of success that you're seeing in those markets here in the domestic market?
Yeah, so it's very different, because the US market or the North American market or even European markets, they have been there for decades. And so the markets have evolved. In India, we have been here for the last 7 years, and we are just seeing the usage of the products in the country. And because of the circumstances, like if I see my product usage in the North America or in Australia or in Europe, there's a large customers who are farmers who buy these products and use it in the farmland themselves. Now, when we come to India and we see the farmer base, they are using some very low cost technologies, and when I offer the same solution to them, it becomes like a 4 times or a 5 times more expensive, and therefore the user base for me as to the farmer is almost negligible or zero. So those are the challenges that we have to face in the country, where a product which is considered as farmer's product, or also, there are a number of applications. Farmers is one of the big chunk, but then we have to see that, farmers is out. So what are the other segments that we have? So, okay, government, the need for the armies and police and paramilitary forces, the forest departments, or then what else? The individual customers who have been abroad and they have seen Polaris vehicles, great riding and all, and they say, I also want to have that. So it's like not a utility, but a fad. I own a Polaris, like you have a Mercedes, BMW, Audis, and I also have a Polaris. So that kind of a customer base, which is very limited again, is what we are addressing. Okay. So in order to do that, meet that challenge, we have to actually find out a very innovative solution in Polaris Adventure Zone. So we thought that, okay, in fact, it started with our first display in Auto Expo, where we have to showcase the product in 2012. And we said that we would not just showcase the product, but we'll give experience to the people. Instead of just saying that this is all-terrain vehicle and standing there, people will say, what is this different vehicle? We said, let's give some ride on the vehicle. So that became very popular in the Auto Expo. So that became a very profitable business. And so far we have expanded to about 80 experience centers, which we call Polaris Adventure Zone in the country. And we have big hopes on that. So that's an innovation that we have done to increase the business in the country.
I wish you all the very best, Pankaj. Thanks so much for coming down to our studios today.
Thank you, Sunanda.
Thank you. Time for a break. On the other side, Prayag Polymers. What is the company up to? A deep dive when we come back. To stay tuned. Welcome back. You're with us here on VoiceWhat presents Impactful Brands and Leaders in LOT Special Series. And tonight, our special conversation tonight is with Prayag Polymers. Now, Prayag Polymers is a market leader when it comes to the manufacture and distribution of sanitary ware products. They have over 2,500 products across different market categories and segments. I spoke with Nathan Agarwal to understand how they're using technology in their industry and how they're constantly innovating in a market that is largely crowded and has unorganized players. Take a listen.
A brainchild of VK Agarwal, Prayag India is a leading manufacturer of sanitary ware products and bathroom accessories. Since the past 3 decades, Prayag has been a leading name in designing and creating a complete range of sanitary ware products. Having revolutionized PTMT technology at the production level, today Prayag India is a market leader in the PTMT segment of faucets and showers. With a manufacturing plant strategically situated in Bhiwadi, Rajasthan, comprising of the latest technology and an extensive dealer network spread all across India, Prayag India is looking to scale to greater heights.
Nathan, thank you very much for speaking with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow. Let me start by asking you to talk to our viewers about Prayag Polymers, what they need to know about the business, how that business has really evolved, and also what that journey has been like for you.
Prayag, the company started around 32 years back with the concept of taking a taps to the interior of India, the rural market. So that the company started with the concept of making a taps which should last for longer at a economical cost. So for that, the innovation was with the PTMT taps, the faucets, the complete range was there, and the plastics, which used to run for years and years without any maintenance and all, and used to be stand with the same looks. And then when I've joined the company around 10 years back and met my elite customers, that rural market, that we found that the market has changed with the time. Now it's not only about the tap, they need more innovations, the new products in that. With that lines, we started with the faucets and brass, with the chrome plating finish, with the new designs.
Okay, so you're saying new innovations, and you realize that while you're still, you're talking to tier 2 and tier 3 markets, you're also looking at different products and the different kinds of products that you can provide to these markets. I'll come back to talk about innovation, but I want to understand how the taste preference is changing. You're saying that from when you started to when you realize that this market is changing, what is leading these changes? Also, over the past year, we've seen a lot of commentary and a push from the government in terms of Swachh Bharat. Has that had any impact?
See, few movies like The Toilet came. Before that, there were some movies were there which were emphasizing the having a toilets or bathrooms in the house, and the push from the government side, from the Swachh Bharat, the sanitation, plus at the Gramin level, getting the drainage systems, the water supplies to the villages has helped the people to make their toilets, the bathrooms in the houses.
Okay, what is the profile typically of the consumers that you work with? How is that changing? And you were saying, tier 3, tier 4. How has that been changing?
See, in the last 3 years, because of the globalization, the social medias, a lot of online companies have come and different things. That has really changed the profiling of people sitting in tier 2, tier 3. Now they have access of the product which they were used to buy when you used to travel earlier to the metros. Now they can take any product online, they can search, they have a knowledge of the product, the growth of the society, what is happening nowadays. So that way this thing is happening in a very fast pitch, which when you actually go to that market, then you realize that everybody is on the smartphone, they are aware of each and every kind of new innovation happening, the new product coming in the market, the new utilization of the product is happening in the market. So that is helping in a big way.
Okay, so let me take a step back from talking about the company to talk about you as the entrepreneur. What has your own journey been like? And you're saying that it's been about 32 years. In this time period, what perhaps has been some of your biggest learnings?
What I feel, your consumer, the end user who is actually using the product is your teacher. When you meet them, then they actually tell us about the bad thing and the good things about your product.
Okay, but what has been your biggest learning is what I'm trying to understand. You're saying that meeting with your customers, trying to understand from them what they would need has been a learning. But for you as an entrepreneur, in your own growth, what has it been?
What I feel is that what I have learned in the time is two things. One, to give the value for the money to your consumers. They should feel whatever they spend on the product is the value for them. Second thing is to be ahead of little time. If you feel that tomorrow your consumer can expect from the company or from the product, if you can deliver today, that can make your company to the next level.
Okay, so it's not very often that one hears the word technology in the same sentence as when talking about bathrooms and bathroom fittings and products like yours. What convinced you that there was definitely a need then to use technology?
See, the way the thing is happening, the technology is changing your life on a day-to-day basis. So to cut down the cost and to get the right product to the consumer, because the bath fittings and pipes is something which somebody wants to put once in a lifetime. They don't want to do any repair work or the maintenance of these kind of product. So to come to that expectation, you have to do a lot of uses of technology in the product, where you can cut down the manual errors, which used to happen earlier when there was a lot of mix of machinery and the manual things. Now the robotic things, the new technologies, the new machineries which has come with a lot of data has cut down that kind of the possibilities of error when they install the product.
So basically once you've installed it, you don't have to worry about it then, thanks to the technology that you're using. What percentage of your time, what percentage perhaps of your cost then goes into R&D?
So there's a team which is 100% involved on day to day, which keep on thinking about how to add the new value to the product in terms of technology, in terms of process, in terms of cost, because now everything is changing on day to day. The consumer, if sees something new in some help in some other field, he expects same kind of help in the same technology in the bath fittings. So the team has to be on the toes on the day to day to come out of this.
Okay, we started this interview with you talking about innovation and the innovation that you're doing at Prayag Polymers. I just want to come back to that and talk about why innovation is so important for you and how you're innovating.
Today, the way the world is changing, everybody expects something new. We used to feel 5 years back that technology used to change every 10 years, then 5 years. Now at today's age, I think it's every 2 years, the designs, the interior, the things is happening very fast. The changes are happening very fast. So to come up with that expectation, you have to come out with the new designs and new technology very fast. So the innovation speed has to be increased. So that we have increased. Earlier we used to come up with a new design after every 3 years. Now every 6 months we comes up with the new designs, new technologies.
Apart from the business aspect of it also, I understand you are very passionately involved with a lot of sports businesses in India, where you actively sponsor a lot of sports teams here in the country. How does that perhaps help you when it comes to building your overall brand image?
In India, either the sports, primarily the cricket, which is I think almost 70% people watch cricket. So cricket is so much in the blood in India. So that is the one driving thing where we found that to connect with the youth, which is going to be our customer maybe in the next 5 years, 10 years the time, once he'll build up his house or somewhere he's going to use it. So that is the one thing where we want our consumer to grow with the brand with that age. So that was the first point of connect is the sports, because in India from the young age people are active with the sports. So connect with the IPL, with the bilateral series of India happening in Sri Lanka. Recently we have done the series India-Ireland. So these kind of things where when you talk about the company, people are aware of the brand.
Why is it important for a business like yours to have that brand ambassador? You're saying associated with, with people at a much younger age possibly and help you grow that brand. But for smaller businesses which perhaps then can't really access brand ambassadors like the ones that you have, then what do they do?
Having a brand is something which reflects, if any brand ambassador is there, he has some image in the market. If you connect your brand with that person, so that takes same kind of image or some kind of reliability to the consumer. And if some companies like us where we were not able to take that next step, we try to make that kind of communication where we try to explain how our product or the commitment is there in the market.
So as I'm winding down this conversation, then my last question to you, like you said, every 6 months you're looking at launching new products and new innovation. What perhaps are the next couple of months looking like for you? Anything you can leave us with?
Now we are going to focus more on the tier 3 market or tier 2, the rural market. So we are coming up with the new economical products in the market. We're coming with the new range of the product where we feel after the GST, the gap is there in that market where the unbranded, unorganized product was there in that market, which today they're not able to serve that market because of n number of reasons. So we have come up with a product where we're going to cut down around 20% cost of the baseline products, and we're going to take that product in that market maybe by next month.
Okay, we wish you all the very best for that.
Thank you.
Thanks for speaking with us here.
Thank you.
All right, that's our show tonight. If you have any feedback for us, we love hearing from you. As always, do send us your thoughts and feedback on our email ID, leadersoftomorrow@timesgroup.com. You can also get in touch with us on our social media pages, including Twitter. Sananda_J is my official Twitter handle. LOT_ET Now is our official Twitter handle, or Leaders of Tomorrow on ET Now is our Facebook page. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.